a little with each one of you. What will you do? When the stakes of the border rise, it's no time to make a compromise. Turn to the river, shuffle to the bridge, never will find out just what it is.
Welcome back, my nits, my wits, and everyone in between. It's really great to see you guys again. So, we're going to start this vlog off a little bit differently today. I'm at El Mexicano on 30th Street in Gulfport, Mississippi. It's about a block away from Highway 90, which runs along the beach here on the Gulf Coast. We're going to step in, get a bite to eat, get something to drink, and I'm just going to kind of showcase this restaurant. Been going here since 2012, 2013. A great family restaurant. I've known Tony for 10, 12 years essentially. So let's step inside and see what this place is about. So when I come here to El Mexicano, this is a must. It's a very first thing I always get. He always brings out the chips and salsa. Tony's one of the greatest guys, so hospitable. And then he brings out a spicy queso, and then his world class margarita. And I've been trying to get that recipe for the last 12 years, but he will not share it. Probably the best margarita on the Gulf Coast. And this is the special Mexican dinner. I always get this when I come here. These tacos are out of this world, along with the chalupa. I have a cheese enchilada, tamale, rice, and beans. Delicious and plenty of food when you come here to eat. And before we head out to Biloxi, I just wanted to give a little background on this place. This business, El Mexicano, has been here for over 45 years. Martha and Tony both own El Mexicano, but Tony is pretty much the face of this particular restaurant. He does a little bit of everything. He is the only server here, so you get to meet him, you get to talk with him. He is a very awesome guy to get to know and talk to. He runs with one chef in the back. Very quaint, very feel good place to be. I call it a hidden gem here on the Gulf Coast. So come check them out. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put a link to his Facebook, hopefully on the video. If not, it will definitely be in this description. So let's go ahead, get in the vehicle. We're going to go head down 90 so you'll get to see the beach. And we're going to go play some more three No Limit Texas Hold'em. Hopefully it'll be a great session. Let's go, guys. After a couple of hands go by, I look down at the ace of clubs and the eight of clubs in the cutoff. It folds around to me, and I make my standard raise in this game. I bump it up to $15. The big blind said that's good enough for him, so he goes ahead and makes the call. We're off to a flop, which comes the ace of diamonds, the eight of diamonds, and the four of clubs. He quickly checks to me, so I take a quick moment and think whether or not if I should just bet or check back for some deception. All of his overs missed except some of the ace X hands. We could have a flush draw. Excuse me. He could have a flush draw, a gut shot straight draw, two ways. But I don't think 2-5 or 2-3 are pre-calling this flop. I could see 6-7 and maybe 5-6 calling. He also could have hands like pocket sevens, nines, sixes, etc. I decide in this moment I'm going to slow play this hand. Now, caution, if you take this line, be prepared for repercussions on further streets. So, we're off to the turn, which is the two of clubs. So now there's another flush draw that comes in, and if for some reason he does have 5-3, he got there, but I highly doubt that he has that. He takes the betting lead and puts $20 out there. Now, I have played with this guy before. He's a pretty splashy player, so his range is somewhat wide. So I just go ahead and make the call. I think I could have raised here too and charged the flush draws and maybe some straight draws. But my thinking here is I feel like it's a favorable, if it is a favorable river for me, then he is likely to blast up on the river with smaller pairs, busted draws, etc. So I haven't shown too much aggression after the flop. Let me know. Excuse me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Tell me what your thoughts are and what you would have done in this spot. So we're rolling on the river, which is the nine of diamonds. Definitely not the card I wanted to see because if he has a flush, it got there. Also, ace nine, which is hard to have and somewhat unlikely because I have an ace in my hand, also got there too. And if he had pocket nines, they got there as well. Now he leads out for $30. So there's $71 in the pot so far. So that's pretty close to half pot as far as his bet goes. He's trying to tell me he got there. However, I do think about it for a second. I think he probably donk bets the flop, which I've seen him do quite a bit in the past if he had two diamonds or a set. I've also seen him bluff quite a bit as well. If this was a different player, like the player sitting to my immediate right at the table, I probably consider folding. I go ahead and throw in the call. He tells me that I'm good, and he mucks his hand before I show mine. This is why it's important to know your opponent and their tendencies. That way you can make the best decision for your situation. This is a great way to start off the session. I love pulling chips my way. Welcome to the vlog's Nit or Wit play. So, I'm in the big blind. There are three limpers ahead of me. I pig down at pocket fives. Since nobody seems too interested in this spot so far, I'm just going to go ahead and put in the raise. Side note, this game just started. We're not even 30 minutes into the game, and the table hasn't quite warmed up yet, so nobody has been too aggressive. I make it $18 to go. The under the gun says the under the gun makes the call. The small blind says he wants to play as well, so he calls too. The flop comes the seven of clubs, seven of spades, and six of spades. Now, this flop looks pretty bad for pocket fives, but really it's not too terrible for my range. This flop should hit the small blind and myself a lot more than it should hit the under the gun. Now, the small blind checked dark, and I want to find out where I'm at. So I go ahead and throw out I throw out a bet for $30. The under the gun immediately calls. Now, I want you guys to make a note for the later. The small blind goes ahead and gets out of the way and folds. Now, the turn is the jack of hearts. So, a little bit of a backstory for this player. His range is somewhat tight, but he loves to draw. Flush draws, straight draws, got shot, straight draws. I mean, he could be a famous artist as much as he loves to draw. When he quickly called the flop bet, that's usually a good indication of some sort of draw. Every tell is different for people, but this is a good one, a good percentage of time that holds true. So, what beats me here? Pocket sixes, 7x, and now Jack X. I can eliminate 7x. He usually re-raises and doesn't slow play hands like that on the flop. He could be slow playing pocket sixes, so that's in the back of my head, but I don't think that's the case because of how quick his action was on the flop. He could have Jack X of spades, and we can find that out by making a bet here. So that's exactly what I do. I bet $40, which is roughly a third pot bet. If he's got a made hand like sixes and he thinks I'm on a flush draw, then he's going to repot me. If he has Jack X of spades, he could repot me here as well. So I'm in the 9 seat to the right of the dealer, and he's in the 1 seat. I catch something out of the corner of my eye. He picks up his cards looking like he wants to throw his hand away, and then he puts it back down really quickly. He's not angle shooting here because he's looking down at the flop, not even glancing my way. He makes the call, which with this player and his history, I'm 99% sure he's on a draw and it's probably a flush draw. To the river we go, and it's the queen of diamonds. Now, do me a favor, everyone. I want you to go to the comments and tell me what you think I should do in this situation. Should I check, bet small, bet pot, overbet, or go all in? So pause the video right here and comment down below. And while you're in the comments, and if you haven't subscribed to me, do me a favor and hit that button as well. Now back to your normally scheduled program. That card shouldn't change a whole lot unless he hit a queen right here chasing a flush draw, which could happen. Under the gun could have some queen X there and even jack X there as well. I decided to continue with my aggression. I don't want to check and him check back with a 6 or a jack there. I think I can get him off those hands. Again, I feel like he has a flush draw, and I think a check right here, I'm going to lose this pot. So I'm thinking of a sizing that will get him off his 6x spades and jack x spades hands, and maybe even finds a queen x spades fold is there as well. I have a real life misclick and I miscalculate the pot. I bet $75, which is roughly 40% of the pot. I really think if I'm trying to get him off his value hands, I need to at least bet 3/4 or higher. So he takes little to no time and just throws away his hand. So, guys, let me know what you think about the way this played out and what you would have done in this situation. As I'm pulling in the pot, he does tell the table he had an ace high flush draw, which makes sense for him and his style of play. All right, everyone except for one player limps to me, and I look at the king and 5 of diamonds in the small blind. This isn't a raising hand to me in this situation, but I'm definitely calling. And if the big blind doesn't raise, there will be 7 of us to the flop. He obliges and just checks it through. So we're all off to a flop, which comes out the 10 of diamonds, the 3 of diamonds, and the 9 of clubs. That's not a bad flop for me at all. I just check in the moment. I'm sure if someone has a part of this, they're going to bet out. Under the gun one throws $10 in the pot. The cutoff and I both come along with him. Now the turn is the 7 of spades. The flush doesn't get there, and the board is now more connected with possible straights like the jack 8 or 8-6, and also possible straight draws as well. I check to the aggressor who bets out small for $15. The cutoff once again calls. I pause for a moment. I think the under the gun one has 10x, probably because his sizing was small on the turn. I'm not sure what the cutoff has because he puts the call in before the under the gun one finishes bet, but more than likely he has a draw. If the cutoff hits his straight, he's re-raising here to charge the flush draws, and it's probably a big raise. A lot of these players at this games like to over-raise because of the past bad beats, and their thinking is, well, I didn't want to get drawn out on. So I go ahead and make the call. If I miss my draw, I'm debating on some form of bluffing depending on the river. Well, the river is the jack of diamonds. So now I don't have to worry about a bluff attempt because I hit my flush. The question is, do I continue to check or go for a small bet that the under the gun one can call? I'm pulling out a $30 bet, and as I'm putting it in the pot, under the gun one acts out of turn and puts out $20. He goes ahead and throws the additional $10 in for a call, and the cutoff folds. Well, crap. I should have probably bet more. I don't think he would have called a check raise, but who knows. He asks if I have a straight at this time, and I tell him no, just a flush. He turns over a 10, and the pot is pushed my way. I'm in the process debating to leave for the day when the blinds come around to me. I've been running hot, and the cards are starting to go cold. Well, I wake up with pocket aces in middle position, so it looks like I'm going to play another hand. Under the gun and under the gun one both limp to me, so I go ahead and raise up to $15. It gets back to under the gun, and he makes the call. Now, under the gun one goes all in for $37. Well, he must be trapping, and he's saying he's super strong. I guess I'm going to just fold out and live to play another hand, is what I will never say with pocket aces pre-flop. I just make the call, hoping under the gun comes along, which he does. The flop is a super safe one for me. It's the 10 of spades, 3 of hearts, and the 5 of diamonds. Under the gun checks. So I definitely want more money in this pot. My thoughts are to bet super small so he can come along with almost anything. So I just lead out for $20. I guess he completely misses because he folds out. Now, under the gun one says, I've got ace king Oreo. So, just a little bit of backstory on this particular poker room. That's what a few of the players and dealers call me. I'm sure you've noticed that my card protector is an Oreo. And depending on how old you are and how long you've played poker, this is a reference for Teddy KGB in the movie Rounders. So I asked my very talented and beautiful wife if she could make me this particular card protector, and of course she did. So ever since I've been using this card protector, almost every time it becomes a conversation starter. Usually the first question is it real? And then I go to explain that my wife made it for me, and usually I will throw it their way so they can take a look at it. Now, at the WSOP in 2021, I was at a table with James Wood, who was a popular actor in the 1990s, and Ashley Sleeth. Now, she's a professional poker player. She was just starting her vlogging career. In fact, at that table, she was putting together one of her first videos. Both made their own comments about the Oreo. In fact, they both told me that my wife should make more of these and then sell them at the series. Okay, so let's get back to the hand. So I let him know the bad news and turn over my aces. I just need to fade a king, queen, or a jack, so the turn he'll be pretty much drawing dead. The turn is the two of clubs. So my friend to the right is begging the dealer for a four so we can just chop. You know what? He's a good guy. He buys in fairly small, plays premium hands and pocket pairs for the most part. He's very engaging with everyone at the table. So to be honest with you, if he did spike a four, I wouldn't be too upset to chop with him. So the river is the two of spades. That is freaking awesome. That's another pot I'm pulling my way. I stay and play a few more orbits. I don't see too many flops after that. So I go ahead and rack up my chips. And I'm good with doubling up over this session in just a few hours that I've played. All right, guys, just finished the session at the Bow. I'm actually at the Gulfport Biloxi line here on the beach. Just wanted to show you guys this kind of action here. There we go. Um, Walked in with $300, didn't have to rebuy back in, doubled up my money. Definitely better than last session where I just had to kind of grind it out and walk up with about 30 bucks or so. This session was definitely a lot different. Like I said, the pocket fives hand I really kind of earned, but everything else was standard for the most part. And guys, if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button and leave a comment underneath. I love all of your guys' comments and feedbacks. I love reading them and I love responding to them as well. All right. Until next time, guys, I will see you on the felt. Y'all have a great day. Goodbye.